Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox Cut. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a review on Jojo Part 2. I decided to name this series called Manga Reads because it just seems like it would get out to the public more by just calling it Manga Reads. So it's kind of like a manga review kind of series, or just a manga reading log series, but you know, take it for what you want. But yeah, Jojo's Part 2. I definitely have my opinions on it. So let's just get right in. I have a lot written down, so I might skip some, I might hit some certain key points, but there might be spoilers. There probably will be. So Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 starts off 49 years later after Part 1, after Dio got his head cut off and Jonathan and Irena passed away by the drowning boat. So the story kind of starts off with 49 years later. You have the new generation of like Jonathan, pretty much. His name's Joseph, and there he is right there. So it's kind of the next generation of the Joestars, and right off the bat, it just continues with the shenanigans. It starts off with Joseph kind of getting in a street fight, and he already knows Hammond. And if you guys don't know what Hammond is, which on my last video I explained what Hammond was, it's kind of like breathing techniques, and they allow you to transfer energy through certain things to do a lot of damage. So he's using bottle caps to shoot out of Coca-Cola bottles, you know, to hit them in the head. It's just, it's bizarre. I have written down that the Pillar Men, so at first I thought it was a single Pillar Man, so I thought that was going to be the main villain of the entire arc, but I know it was a bunch of Pillar Men. It was 4 of them actually, so it wasn't just one, but I have written down that it was just one at the time. So Speedwagon brings a bunch of Hammond users, like ancient Hammond users, to investigate this tomb in Mexico, and it has this statue with a pillar, or a pillar with a man in it, with a bunch of stone masks around it. So it's kind of like a mystery around that. Right off the bat, I noticed that Joseph was a lot different than Jonathan, because like if you guys watched my last video, I said that Jonathan is like a ladies' man, a stand-up kind of guy. But Joseph is not. He's not respectful. He's like he wants to have sex. He's definitely a different character. Do I like him more? Yeah, but not by much. Does it show what kind of person I am? Maybe. But yeah, I really enjoy kind of the character development that Joseph kind of goes through. We'll talk about that later. I have written down that it's pervy. Yeah, he's a perv, man. There's parts where he's like, yeah, let me see up your skirt, you know. It's just like, geez, it's pervy for sure. Right after the bat, with like the first fight, it just continues with the bizarreness. This guy right here, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he was the first Pillarman, and he was literally scooping the bullets out of him with his fingers. I was like, geez, that's awesome. You know, it's crazy. It's brutal. Another one of my favorite parts in the earlier parts of Part 2 is when he was fighting Stravio, I think that's what his name was, where he had the laser vision, and Joseph ricocheted it through the shot glass. God, I was literally dying. A great part. There's just so much crazy stuff that happens in Part 2 that it's just like kind of hard to remember that all the shit that really happens. And just whenever you think it doesn't get, like, whenever you think it's crazy, it gets even crazier. So the Pillarmen get captured by the Nazis. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So the Nazis are trying to use these Pillarmen for war advantages. Take it for what you will. I mean, that's pretty much what, it's realistic, you know. The humor is great. I have it written down that the humor is fantastic. I mean, I was laughing all throughout Part 2. I really enjoyed it. It was a great fight between Joseph and the Pillarman, the first Pillarman. Great fight. I love how he went inside of his body and exploded him. Super cool. It's just super unique, the Hammond abilities, like how much they can do with just Hammond. It's insane. And I said good setup for the second volume, so we'll switch over to the second volume. the rival, whenever they introduced Caesar, right? Caesar Zeppeli, I like immediately liked him. He's a bro. You could tell that they had some type of rivalry between Jojo and Caesar. Really like that. And it was where the enemy's motivation finally got revealed, which was the Redstone of Aja. I'm not sure how you say it, but I say Aja because I think that's how you pronounce it. But the Redstone of Aja can pretty much, to put it in simple words, it allows him to become the divine being. It just allows him to level up pretty much. They realize that they can't win, you know, because if they get their hands on the Redstone of Aja, they realize that they can't win, and even the Nazis have it out of their power. So they realize they have to keep the Redstone out of their hands. And it brings me to my next point, that the fight scenes are just fucking great. The clackers, the strings, the Hammond abilities are just fantastic. Like the clackers, if you guys know what I'm talking about, there's a part in, I think it's volume 2 or 3, where Joseph just literally uses clackers. It's just such a cool, it's just bizarre. I love it. I know it's corny saying that, but it literally is crazy. So it kind of gives a little backstory on the stone mask from part 1, so it kind of clears up how that was made. So Jonathan from part 1, his research kind of led back into part 2, where it revealed that the stone masks were actually created by the 4 Pillarmen, which is like one of them right here. Really interesting. I really like that concept, because it kind of makes part 1 kind of has a little bit of better reread value, because you kind of have a backstory on how this came about and stuff like that. Getting into volume 3, my thoughts on volume 3 were, I was losing it. I was definitely losing my interest in it at this point. The character Lisa was introduced, and it was just a training montage and stuff like that, because Joseph kind of asks for 1 month to train, and yeah, they granted to him. And in that 1 month of training, you know, him and Caesar go through, you know, just a series of challenges and stuff like that, and it was dragging for me. And you know, they hunted for the redstone, and they eventually found it and stuff like that. Well, Lisa had it the entire time. It was just kind of like a test. The fight between Cars and Jojo was, well, when I say Jojo, I'm talking about the current Jojo in the part, so Joseph meaning Jojo. It was great. It was just a simple fight. I mean, they ended it pretty quick, but it was just a simple fight. The fight between Wamu and Caesar, fantastic. I loved the send-off for Caesar. I love the way he was able to send the last message, and the nose ring or the lip ring to Jojo. It's the antidote, because they have these rings wrapped around their throat and their neck that release poison if they don't fight them within a certain amount of time. I know it sounds crazy. A great ending to volume 3. Getting into volume 4, which I finished literally probably like 5 minutes before I started recording this video. I just wanted to give you guys my fresh thoughts about it. You finally get to see Lisa fight. Super cool power. She uses her hair a lot, and it reveals that her dad was Stravio, which is funny because Stravio actually uses his hair a lot. Lisa versus Cars, great fight. Joseph versus Wamu, God, what a fantastic fight. And by this time in the story, Joseph was growing. At the first part of the story, I told you he was pervy and stuff like that, kind of just thinking about himself. By this time in the story, he's worried about Speedwagon, Caesar, Lisa. He just definitely grew as a character, and I really enjoyed that. The bandana, where Joseph put on the bandana of Caesar to fight Wamu, fantastic. You finally get a little bit into Lisa's backstory. Like I said earlier, you find out who her father was and stuff like that. By this point, I was already in the late second half of the final volume, and you know, it was just getting wild. Like squirrels and fish were turning into vampires and ripping people's faces off. It was just crazy. But the fight between Jojo and Cars was fantastic. The ending was great. The way, just the way the fight ended, the way the fight concluded was pretty great. I love the way he, it just incorporated the planes, because Jojo's favorite thing, or he always strived to be a pilot. And then, like I said, it has a great setup for part 3. Whatever part 3 is about, I have it right there in the paperbacks. But whatever they set up for part 3, do I like Jojos yet? I like it. Am I going to continue reading? Yeah, I'm going to continue reading. Would I have paid retail for these volumes? Probably not. But I'm going to continue reading. I'm going to give it, like, this part 2 was a lot better than part 1. Just like, it was just way more crazier. It had a lot more to it. It had a lot more character development. And granted, there was an extra volume to flesh the world out a little more, flesh the characters out. But it kind of lost me a little bit with hopping around between like different territories and different territories. But yeah, it was a great read. Like, you know, one volume kind of lost me just a little bit. But yeah, I give it like a 7.5. I give part 1 a 7, so I give part 2 a 7.5. But yeah, I liked it overall. Thanks for watching, guys. I have a manga haul that for April coming out here pretty soon. I'm just waiting on one more box, so whenever that one more box, I'm gonna film that last video and then gonna join the videos together and then do a massive unboxing for you guys. Thanks for watching. This has been Manga Reads, Jojo Part 2.